Many schools across the country have started a new initiative to increase reading in their students. It all started when the vice principal of a school in Buffalo, New York, reached out to local company Global Vending Group with a rather unusual idea. Literacy rates were lower than desired, so the administrator wanted to do something about it. Working with other educators, they developed a way to get kids excited about reading. GVG designed a kid-friendly vending machine they now call Inchi's Bookworm Vending Machine. Unlike machines that vend candy, soda, or other snacks, the Bookworm holds 200 to 300 copies of up to 20 different books. The books offer a wide variety of subjects, genres, and reading levels. It uses Inchi Golden tokens. Schools can choose how students earn tokens based on their needs and goals. Some have chosen to reward kids through good behaviors, like getting their homework done, being kind to others, or simply making good choices. Using the machine makes obtaining books special and fun, and when the books are seen as a reward, children get an extra thrill out of making their selections. Not only that, but the kids actually get to keep the books they chose. If they get to pick out a book they want to read, they are more apt to want to actually read it. So often, students are told by their parents or teachers what to read. This will foster a love of reading and give them a real sense of ownership. The results from schools that have installed Inchi's Bookworm Vending Machine are overwhelmingly positive. This is an incredible new way to get kids excited about reading. Rewarding good behavior while also instilling a passion for books in kids will hopefully lead to a lifetime in learning and opening up their minds. The goal of this project is to purchase a book vending machine and books to stock the machine. The vending machine will give students an incentive to make good choices and to foster a love of reading. There is research that shows having to work for something can increase its perceived value. I have started the process of completing an application for a grant that our school district provides through the education grant, and I will know soon if my grant will be accepted. And I have placed into the grant all of the things that are needed in order to suggest why we need a book vending machine, how the book vending machine will work, the purchase of the book vending machine, how I will obtain books for the vending machine in the future. This vending machine is hopefully going to go to the campus of my kinder and first grade students. And if it is successful there, then I would like to also try to get a book vending machine for my other campus that I am librarian at for 4th and 5th grades. The library project I've chosen is to try to order the Inchi's Bookworm Vending Machine. I'm trying to order this for my campus with its kinder and first, and it's a vending machine which uses vending books that take a golden token. It could be used by rewarding kids for good behavior, grades, good attendance, reading a certain number of points or minutes. It'll hold up to 200 to 300 books. Here's the gold coin that requires, and it comes with 100 gold coins, and then teachers would distribute the coins as they see fit. I'm going to tie this to character because we do a character counts category every 6 weeks. So at the end of the 6 weeks, one student from every class is chosen for that character, specific character counts. And then I'm going to allow that student to choose a book from the vending machine. So here's just a very short video on the vending machine.
Now we have a couple of unique things going. One is we've been working with the books, which is my favorite project. The one thing that I really noticed from going to the schools, I noticed they only had computers and iPads. The library light was shut off. There were literally almost no books in the school. The kids have been super excited, and on our Twitter feed, there's many schools that have been launching pictures of the kids and putting the tokens in, the level of excitement, and we've been getting fantastic feedback in the minimum time that we've had. We're working with schools, elementary, and also middle and high school all over the country, where we designed a special token called Inchy the Bookworm. The children are rewarded for good behavior, high grades, number of reading hours, and I'm actually flying all over the country talking to PTAs and PTOs and principals, showing them the value of getting kids excited about reading, because the literacy rate in this country is really slipping. So we've got unique goals and things like that, and we're working with boards of education, and that's been fantastic. We feel pretty good about that.
To find out how you can bring an Inchy the Bookworm book vending machine to your school, just visit globalvendinggroup.com or give us a call to talk to a live rep today.
I spoke with my principal, Mrs. Mariquin, and my assistant principal, Mrs. Burnham, on September the 1st. I told them about the vending machine and showed them the video and the pictures of what it is about, and they were very excited to the thought of having the vending machine on our campus, kinder and first. So I told them that I knew there wasn't any funds available, so that I was interested in writing a grant with the Education Foundation through the schools district. So they agreed with that and said that they would help me in any way they could, and also sign off on the grant with me. On September 2nd, I started the grant process, which took several days to fill it out, have all the information from the book vending machine in order to put that also in the grant for the total cost. I spoke with Ken Vendizak about the vending machine and asked him some information. We spoke on the phone a couple of times for several minutes each time. He walked me through it. He sent me some information through the mail, and then he also, when I started filling out the grant for the vending machine, I needed an exact quote. So he recently emailed me this quote on September 3rd for the vending machine. There's two different prices. One is for if you can get a custom wrap for the vending machine, or you can just get the generic wrap that comes with it. It's several $100s difference. So I'm going to put in my quote on the grant for the one that does not come with the custom wrap. So that would be $45.90, but that's with shipping and everything, but then I would have to buy the books separately. So in order to do this, I have chosen to write a grant through the Andrews ISD Education Foundation. After gathering my information and the facts about the vending machine, how it would be implemented, ways we could encourage students to earn a golden ticket, which we're going to base it on character counts by every 6 weeks. I started the Andrews ISD Education Foundation grant application, and I've finished it. I've worked on it. I put some information here about the background for the Inchy Bookworm vending machine, why I thought it would be good to have at our school, what the goal is, and then included our budget. So I'm asking for $6,685 total. That would be the $45.90 for the vending machine, $5.95 for shipping, and then an extra like $1,500 for books to fill the vending machine, which brings the total cost to $6,685. So that is the amount that I'm asking in the grant. Here I attached pictures of the vending machine. The golden tokens, how the drawers are arranged. There's different sizes I can do for that. And then I included the quotes so they could see the options between the two quotes, which includes everything that we need. So right now it's at 33%. So I have submitted it. It's just waiting on principal approval, and then it has to go through several different steps. So we'll be coming back to see how that begins to progress. I received an email today about my grant, the Education Foundation grant, and they have received the grant application, so my principal has approved it. Friday, October 30th, the committee will meet and review the applications. Monday, November 2nd, they will vote on approving which grants will be accepted. Tuesday, November 10th, they will notify the school board, and Wednesday, November 11th, they will present the checks to the recipients. So, crossing our fingers. Today is September 15th, so I have 100% of my grant has been submitted and turned in and verified by my principal, and now just waiting on the next steps for the grant. Today is November 10th, so I'm anxiously awaiting. Tomorrow is the big reveal on announcing who won the grants for the Education Foundation, and I'm very anxious. I know they're presenting it to the school board tonight. My husband was actually on the school board for 9 years, so too bad he's not on the school board this year. I might get a little inside information first, but I will be patient and wait, and we have no idea what time they'll come around tomorrow, so I wish I knew, so at least I could say, well, by 10 o'clock, if they haven't come, then that tells me I didn't get the grant, but we don't know, so I'll just patiently wait and hope that they decided the Inchy Bookworm vending machine would be a great thing to have at our school. Yay! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Hi! You got your vending machine!
Oh, that's it.
Oh! The following is an overview of the entire project. So I have seen the book vending machine in advertisements and always thought it would be a great asset to any school. I knew it would take some work to make this project happen. Some of the contextual factors to consider are the fact that there are no funds from the school or from the library, that I would need to continue to purchase books to keep the machine stocked. I would need to supply books in English and Spanish, books that are culturally diverse and on several different reading levels. I would need to get the principal and the teacher support. I would need to decide whose responsibility it would be to keep the vending machine stocked, which would probably fall back on me, to consider what guidelines we would use to give the students tokens to select a book. At this point, we're going to use it as character by allowing the Mustang of the Month from each classroom to choose a book. I need to check to see if the machine needs servicing at any time and how we go about doing that, and how soon the machine could be delivered and set up after it was purchased. As far as the advocacy and promotion of the school library, the vending machine will promote reading literacy. To demonstrate school library knowledge and skills, a budget must be created in order to have several things: an exact total to purchase the machine, extra cost for drawers, because the standard drawers are for chapter books, so if I need picture books rather than chapter books, the drawers are an extra cost. Extra golden coins if needed, that would be an extra cost. The shipping, which would be an extra cost, and then the books to fill the machine. So all of these things would need to be considered when applying for the grant for the total amount. The knowledge of Texas School Library standards in this aspect would be information literacy, reading, digital learning, safe and nurturing environment, and leadership. I will be collaborating with teachers and the community and writing the grant to promote reading initiatives that encourage learners to read for understanding and enjoyment. The staff and the community would have the opportunity for participation and collaboration. Books for all student differences, ethically and culturally diverse interests would be purchased to add to the vending machine. On September 2nd, I started the Education Foundation grant application in order to find the funds for the vending machine. I've spoken with the company that makes the machines. There are different sized trays according to what types of books are needed. Since I'm at a kinder first grade campus, I'll need trays that can hold 3 rows of books, a large picture book and 2 medium picture books. These will be an extra cost because they're different sized shelves. They'll send me an estimated cost sheet for me to include with my grant application. I am also on the search for books for the vending machine, and will have a list prepared and ready to order as soon as I know whether I have received the grant. In September, I called the Global Vending Company to ask some questions about the Inchi Book vending machine. I have been in contact with Ken Benazak, who is the sales manager of Global Vending. He is keeping me updated on prices, delivery, and how the machine works. In September, I also began writing the grant. The grant is due on October 14th. However, I did turn that in earlier than that date. October 30th, the grant application committee will meet to review and discuss the grants that were received. On November 2nd, the directors will vote on approving the grants that they have agreed on accepting. On November 10th, the acceptance of the grant donation will be presented to the school board members at the school board agenda. And on November 11th, the Education Foundation will then be presenting the checks to the 2020 grant recipients. As far as prior work on the project, I'd actually looked into the vending machine last school year. It was very expensive. After speaking with my principal, at that time it was Mrs. Motto, we have a new principal now, Mrs. Mariquin, she agreed that it would be a great idea to have the machine, but we didn't have the funds. I do a fundraiser for the library called Reading for Education, as well as the fundraiser from the yearly book fairs. I was planning to use the money from the fundraisers to purchase the vending machine. At this time, I had not really considered writing a grant. I'd actually kind of forgot about the grant that the school district does. It was going to take about 2 to 3 years to save funds for the machine. I really didn't want to wait that long, but I didn't have any other choice. So then Ms. Mata came to me later, a couple of weeks later, and said that she had been given a large amount of Title I money and wanted to use it for the machine if I would gather the information again on the cost and present it to her. So I gathered information for 2 days. I approached her with the information, and then she tells me, "Oh, did I not tell you? I had to spend that money on something else." So I was back to square one of raising the money for myself. Then another teacher had reminded me about the grant given by the Andrews Independent School District Education Foundation each year in the fall. So I decided that I would get my facts all together and apply for the grant when school started again. So that would be this fall. If the grant wasn't awarded, then I had discovered that there were all types of other grants to apply for. So I wasn't going to give up. If I didn't receive this grant, I was going to apply for other grants. And I was determined to get the vending machine for my school sometime within the next 2 years. I knew it would be very exciting for the students and teachers and would increase the awareness of reading and encourage students to have libraries at home and also in the classroom. Once the money was raised for the machine and the books, the next step was to get the machine delivered. I really had planned, if I received the grant, that I wanted to have the machine in place when the students returned to school in January from Christmas break. I spoke to the vending machine company the day after I received the grant, so that would have been Friday, and come to find out it's 12 weeks before the machine can be delivered because there's 136 schools ahead of me. So it'll almost be March by the time we get the vending machine. So I was pretty disappointed, but I'm still really excited that we're going to have the books, and that gives me some time to really focus on what books I'm going to order and have them here, so when the machine gets here, I can immediately get it stocked. Hopefully in the spring, if COVID lets up, maybe we'll be able to have an on-campus book fair to raise some money. My plan was to shop books at our Scholastic Warehouse. They have a sale for their customers, buy one, get one free, twice a year. and that's how I was going to get books to fill the machine. But then COVID hit, and they've closed the warehouse, and we don't know for how long. And the book fairs have been canceled this year, and so those are my biggest fundraisers. And we had a virtual book fair, but only a handful of parents participated. And I'm used to earning about $4,000 to $5,000 each year from the book fair, and this year from the virtual book fair, we only earned $387. So I am concerned about finding funds to keep the machine filled. Luckily, this year with the grant, I have enough money to purchase books to fill it for this year and probably part of next year. But then next year I'll have to start finding other ways to get those books if COVID keeps us from having book fairs again. So with the book fair in place, it will be constant work because it will need to be filled with books, finding the funds to accomplish that goal, and I will need to pay attention to diversity, language, and the reading levels need to be considered when purchasing the books for the vending machine. My main concern is in the next few years, will the machine lose its motivation? But I really don't think so, since it's a campus of Kinder and First and they're very excited about reading. And since it is Kinder and First, then we have a new group of kids every year, and therefore I think it will continue to be a big motivator for reading and for good character. I had $358 from our virtual Scholastic Book Fair that I'm able to use to select some of our books for the book vending machine. This will also help to save money, so I can use some of the grant money for other book vendors. So I chose some diverse stories of different characters for pre-K, K, and grades 1 and 2, an early readers level 1 pack, an early readers pre-readers pack, and fairy tales and folk tales in Spanish. Other books selected from Scholastic are the paperback bruised books, grades K through 2. They're considered bruised books because they might just have a slight bent corner or something on the book, not enough to be noticeable, but yet are offered for a great price. The pleasure reading, grades K through 1, seasonal easy readers pack, and What If a Dino, and then there's several different books that go with What If a Dino does different things in Spanish. These books give a pretty good selection in order to put into the book vending machine in order to get a good start when the book vending machine is delivered. Then I will also look into the Scholastic sale if they end up having one, and also books through other book companies like Follett or Permabound. To recap the process of the library project, I had seen the Into Bookworm on an advertisement. After much research, I decided this is something I wanted to have on my campus at Clear Fork Elementary, grades K and First. I visited with my principal at the time, Mrs. Mata. Since school and library funds were not available to cover that large of a cost, I decided to use the fundraising money I collect through Scholastic book fairs and Reading for Education. Even with these fundraisers, it would take a minimum of 2 years to gather the funds for the machine, not including to fill the books within the machine. A few weeks later, Mrs. Mata told me she had received extra Title I money and wanted to use it for the book vending machine. I gathered the information and a quote for the cost and presented it to her 2 days later. She said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I had to use that money for something else." At this point, I knew it would be up to me to gather the funds for the machine if I wanted to have one at my campus. A friend reminded me about the Education Foundation grant offered by our district and Andrews ISD. They only offer the grant in the fall, so I would have to wait until the next school year. Then COVID hit, and we were teaching from home. As soon as school began again in the fall, we started back face-to-face. I inquired about the grant in late August. When the assignment for the library project was presented for this class, I thought this would be a great project to pursue. My main concern was not being awarded the grant and the feeling of not completing the project. I needed to face the fact that the grant might not be awarded for the book vending machine, and the reality of keeping the vending machine stocked with books might be a problem. If the grant was accepted, my plan to purchase books was through the Scholastic Book Warehouse member sale twice a year. The sale offers books, buy one, get one free. This was the perfect way to purchase enough books economically to keep the machine stocked.
However, with COVID, the warehouse has canceled all sales until further notice. I would include a book budget for grant in the grant, but this would realistically only cover one school year supply of books. On September 1st, I spoke with our new principal, Mrs. Miraquin, and our new assistant principal, Mrs. Burnham, about their thoughts on applying for the grant to buy the In-Shoe Bookworm vending machine. They thought it was a great idea and were very supportive. On September 2nd, I began the grant application process to the Andrews ISD Education Foundation grant to purchase the In-Shoe Bookworm vending machine and enough books to stock it for the first year. The grant was due on October 14th. Friday, October 30th, the grant application committee met to review and discuss the applications received. We were never told how many grants were received and if all the grants were going to be chosen or only selected a few. Monday, November 2nd, the Education Foundation directors will vote on approving the grant applications recommended by the grant committee. Tuesday, November 10th, the acceptance of the grant donation to the AAISD from the Educational Foundation will be on the school board agenda. Wednesday, November 11th, the Education Foundation will be presenting the checks to the 2020 recipients. I am happy to announce that I was one of those recipients on November 11th. 7 grants totaling $23,123 were awarded to the recipients that day. I spoke with Ken Bazanek from the Global Vending Company on Friday, November 13th, about ordering the vending machine. I was hoping to have the machine in place by the time the students return from Christmas break in January. Unfortunately, there are 126 other schools in front of our order. It will be at least 12 weeks before the machine will arrive, so now we are looking at February or March. We had our first ever virtual book fair with Scholastic. I am accustomed to receiving $5,000 to $7,000 in funds from the book fair. This year's virtual book fair only brought in $358. I did our yearly fall fundraiser through Reading for Education and feel it has been successful. We will not know the total earned from that until the end of the school year. The plan for our vending machine is to tie it in with character counts. Each teacher nominates a Mustang of the month who exhibited good character. Those students would then be allowed to come to the library to choose a new book to keep using the golden token. We will still use the machine in this manner, but we will have many students come to choose a book when the machine does finally arrive. I'm beyond grateful and blessed by a school district that goes above and beyond providing methods for teachers to receive money from major purchases to promote student success. I cannot wait to have the machine in place and the first group of kids come down and choose their own book to keep. The joy from those students will make all the work and waiting worth it.